Good evening. Welcome to the February Hoboken Board of Education meeting. We got started a little bit early tonight. We're just coming out of executive session. We had some things to discuss with our attorney, but there's no action being taken on that. So now we will start with our superintendent's report first, or recognitions?
Let's start with the superintendent.
Okay, we'll start with the superintendent's report and then move into our student recognition.
Okay.
Dr. Johnson.
Good evening. We have a number of students who are going to be honored as Students of the Month that are here this evening. In addition, you're also going to be hearing from Dr. Pollins about our district's commitment to Black History Month. And prior to moving on to those recognitions, I would like to take a little time to give some information about some of the things that are happening in the district right now. I'd like to recognize 13 Hoboken High School students for earning the New Jersey Seal of Biliteracy. For those of you who don't know what the Biliteracy Seal is, it's a distinction that the New Jersey Department of Education allows school districts to provide to students who show competency in both the English language as well as another world language. And so we had 13 students sit for the exam, and as a result of that, they earned the seal. So what that means is when they graduate, their diploma will have a distinction. They themselves will have a distinction as not only a graduate of Hoboken High School, but also a graduate with a New Jersey Seal of Biliteracy. I'm also pleased to recognize that 46 Hoboken High School students took and passed the National WISE Financial Literacy Test. These students now hold the coveted national certification regarding financial literacy. I'm not sure that you are aware of this or not. It was in last week's edition of the Herald, but the high school theater department won the first place award for Chapter Select 1 play at the New Jersey Speech and Theater Association of New Jersey, and as a result, the students are going to represent our fine state in the International Thespian Competition at the University of Indiana in June. This past week's show, The Wolves, I think it was an example of the fine and stellar work of our theater department. A bit more about Hoboken High School. We are, in fact, Hudson County mock trial champions, so I think we could not be more proud of that. The last few years, inching closer and closer and closer to that win, and I think this year it was just a phenomenal accomplishment for the students, Mr. Huggins, Mr. DiBernardo, to actually be able to take home that prize. At our middle school, I'd like to formally welcome Miss Mara as acting principal. She's rolled up her sleeves and kind of jumped in head first. She's already getting to know, we'll clap in a second. She's already getting to know families and students, and her relationships with the faculty and the staff only continues to grow. So now I think it's time to welcome Miss Mara. Okay. Also, in terms of the middle school, while we have not yet heard from all of our elementary schools yet, I am happy to report that 2 middle school teams will be advancing in the North Jersey Regional Steam Tank Competition on March 14th. So we're very excited about that. And finally, I'd like to recognize a number of new Passport to Learning Adventure series, including skiing, golf, and ice hockey. The kids are really enjoying themselves. And we're also very excited to announce a brand new cooperative, NJSIAA cooperative for lacrosse at the high school level for both boys and girls teams, and the addition of our all-new esports team at the high school. So at this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Rodriguez-Gomez up to the microphone to start the Student of the Month celebrations.
Good evening. Is this thing on? Good evening, members of our esteemed Board of Education, Superintendent Dr. Johnson, administrators, faculty, family, and of course, the most important, our students. At this time, we will celebrate students in all of our schools who have done their very best to show us their very best. As we always do, we will begin with the Joseph F. Brandt principal, Mr. Bartlett. He will celebrate his selection, and after pictures by our guest photographer, Vice Principal Baker, at the podium, he will then introduce the Connors principal, Miss Addie. She will follow the same pattern, introducing our next presenters, Principals Shannon, Mara, and Pica Pietra of Wallace, the middle school and the high school, respectively. Thank you. Principal Bartlett.
Thank you, Mrs. Rodriguez Gomez. And at this time, I would like to call to the podium the Joseph F. Brandt Student of the Month for January 2020, Michaela Forcum. Congratulations to Michaela Forcum, the Joseph F. Brandt Student of the Month for January 2020. Ms. Giampa, our 5th grade teacher, nominated Michaela because she is a positive role model for all. She is hardworking, helpful, respectful, and kind to everyone. Michaela rarely misses school and is always focused on doing the right thing. She truly embodies all of the characteristics of a Student of the Month and is a great role model for our entire K-5 community. Ms. Giampa said, Michaela radiates kindness, warmth, and sincerity. She is an absolute joy to have in class. Her work ethic and kind heart will take her far. It is with great pleasure that I nominated her as our January Student of the Month. Keep up the great work, Michaela. I am so proud of you. As principal, Michaela has been a most welcome addition to Brandt this year. Coming to a new school in 5th grade is not easy, but Michaela fit right in from day one. She comes to school every day with a smile and a positive attitude. Her transition to Brandt was seamless, and her fellow 5th grade students welcomed her with open arms. Michaela has not only been an example of perseverance and adaptability, but has also been a wonderful student and positive influence on her peers. Being awarded Student of the Month is much deserved, and we are excited to see Michaela continue to grow throughout the rest of her time at Brandt. Throughout her academic career, Michaela has always earned a spot on the honor roll. She was a new student to Brandt Elementary School this year, but quickly made an impact on her classmates and teachers. She is a responsible, motivated, and passionate student. She comes to school every day with a friendly smile and a desire to learn. She is dedicated to helping her classmates succeed and grow in every way she can. Her work ethic and focus is an inspiration to all of us. We are so proud to have her represent our school. She is a wonderful example of Brandt pride. Family means everything to Michaela. She especially loves to cheer on her brother at his soccer practices and go on adventurous walks with her cousins. She also loves to dance, listen to music, and play the violin. Michaela has aspirations to be a kindergarten teacher. She even has her sights set on pursuing those dreams at Keene University. As our public school district continues to grow, I hope Michaela keeps us in mind years from now when she starts applying for her jobs. We certainly can't wait to see what great things the future holds for her. When told she would receive this honor, Michaela was extremely honored and takes great pride in being the Brandt Student of the Month. She has a simple yet powerful phrase that she lives by, and it is great advice not just to our school community, but all of us, and that is, be yourself. Congratulations once again to Michaela Forcum, the Joseph F. Brandt Student of the Month for January 2020. At this time, I would like to call up to the podium the principal of the Thomas G. Connors Elementary School, Miss Juliana Addy.
At this time, I'd like to call up Serena Bufano, Connors Student of the Month for January. Serena Bufano is a kindergarten student in Miss Fleischer's class. Serena is an overall outstanding student and friend. Serena has an extremely contagious personality that can light up a room. Serena is always so eager to learn. She works extremely hard and puts forth a tremendous amount of effort. Serena always tries her best, even when the work is challenging. She never gives up. Serena has made significant improvements in her reading and writing. She utilizes strategies taught in class to sound out unknown words. Serena is a role model for her peers in the classroom. She is a 5-star listener and exemplifies what it means to be a great member of the Connors School community. Serena is kind to her friends and is always willing to give a helping hand to a friend. Serena always makes sure her friends are happy and okay. If a friend is feeling sad, Serena goes out of her way to check on that friend and cheer them up. Serena also goes out of her way with random acts of kindness to help her friends if they need help. She is well liked by all of her peers and teachers. After school, Serena loves to attend dance class and play with her brother, James. Some of Serena's hobbies include dancing and skiing. She attends ski school on the weekends in Jewett, New York, where she spends many weekends at her house there. Serena's favorite subject is art, and when she grows up, she would like to be an artist. She goes above and beyond, and it is a pleasure and an honor to have Serena as Connors School's District Student of the Month. I am so proud of all Serena's accomplishments and look forward to watching her succeed for the remainder of the school year and all the years to come. Congratulations, Serena. Now I'd like to call up Mr. Martin Shannon, Principal of Wallace.
Good evening, thank you. At this time, I would like to call Nyaja Ortiz to the podium as the Wallace School Student of the Month for January. Nyaja Ortiz is a 5th grader at Wallace Elementary School, and she is more than deserving of being recognized as Student of the Month. Each and every day, Nyaja comes to school with a smile on her face and accepts every academic challenge that comes her way. She works diligently to complete quality assignments that reflect her knowledge and is always eager to accept and give feedback. Nyaja is a positive influence and role model for her peers. She is always willing to lend a helping hand to a classmate or advocate for a peer who is unable to find the words. Nyaja exemplifies what it means to be a Wallace Wildcat. Miss Lawrence, her 5th grade teacher, describes Nyaja as a scholar who never fails to be true to herself and leads by example. In the past, Nyaja has accomplished many achievements that she is proud of, but she is most eager to share the kindness she contributes to our school community. Presently, she has stood up for classmates during peer-to-peer interactions, achieved honor roll during both marking periods, and was selected to be a member of the 5th grade memory book club. As her principal, I am proud to endorse Nyaja as the Wallace Student of the Month. These achievements, and all those not mentioned, are evidence of Nyaja's outstanding presence as a scholar, her big personality, and the epitome of what it means to be a Wallace Wildcat, with academics and peers. Nyaja's hobbies include reading books on topics related to animals, braiding hair, customizing shoes, and watching historical documentaries. In school, she loves math class and Project Lead the Way. Nyaja hopes to use these passions to become a veterinarian one day and is beginning this work now by creating a TED Talk to inspire our community to protect life on land and life below water. In the words of Nyaja herself, don't be scared to do the right thing. It is worth it. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Nyaja Ortiz, the Wallace School Student of the Month. At this time, I'd like to introduce Miss Anna Mara, principal of Hoboken Middle School.
At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Miles Angley to join me at the podium. It is a pleasure to introduce Miles Angley as the Hoboken Middle School Student of the Month for the month of January. Miles is polite, well-mannered, respectful, and hardworking. He is funny, kind, and athletic. He enjoys a full schedule at Hoboken Middle School, including theater, art, physical education, English, social studies, pre-algebra, science, and junior model UN. When his peers were asked to describe him, they used the words smart and helpful, and I would most certainly agree. According to his teachers, Miles is always raising his hand and playing a major role in every lesson. He brings a terrific energy to the learning environment and subsequently engages all of those around him. In an effort to connect curriculum to real-life experiences, Miles was a part of a group of students that visited the Hudson River estuary. Led by Resilience Water Activities, he and his peers put on wetsuits and entered the Hudson. They were amazed by the plants and the wildlife they were able to find and study. This gave students a completely new outlook on the body of water within our own backyard. It is well known that Miles has a passion for the sport of ice hockey, which we discussed today. He has been playing this since an early age. He's dedicated to both his academics and his sport, making him a true scholar athlete. When asked what his favorite thing about school was, is that his teachers all make his learning fun. When not in school, he likes to play sports, not just hockey, but soccer, and new for this year, right, lacrosse as well. Miles is the oldest of 3 brothers and enjoys family ski trips, and also looking forward to the one tomorrow afternoon to Mountain Creek. Yep. Okay. Congratulations, Miles, on being Hoboken Middle School's and my first Student of the Month. And it's my pleasure to introduce Ms. Robin Picapietra, Principal of Hoboken High School.
So my January Student of the Month is sophomore Andrew Castlin, but unfortunately, he had a commitment that he tried to move around, and after I read his bio, you'll probably understand why he's such a busy young man, but I wanted to share it with everyone as well, because he's an amazing sophomore. The way I remember meeting Andrew was through his mother and father, and I met them in August, right before the start of his freshman year. And they were just super excited parents, and they were like, Andrew loves the kids so much. He's on the soccer team. They've embraced him. It's like they've known him for years. He is so comfortable, and he's been made to feel so welcome. I didn't know Andrew at that time, but once school began, this young man was everywhere. He decided he was going to take advantage of every opportunity he could and meet as many people as possible. His resume in a year and a half includes membership in the PGP Student Leadership Committee, mock trial, Model UN, Harvard Model Congress, STEM competition team, STEM showcase, environmental science club, boys soccer team, and boys volleyball. Extensive. The one part that is missing was how I really got to know Andrew, and that was in his involvement in the school play, Tony and Tina's Wedding. Andrew played my son-in-law, Tony, and we had a lot of time to get to know one another during play practice. I observed Andrew most of the time as he had a very big part, and it was amazing to watch him interact and get to know different people from our high school community. He was immediately part of our school. Mr. LeBeg, a new teacher to our school, nominated Andrew for several reasons. He said he could cite his outstanding academic performance in his AP Bio class, 93.8 average, consistent participation and engagement in class, participation in multiple extracurricular activities, including acting in plays, multiple sports, many clubs, his help and his assistance of other students in my class when they are struggling, and great attitude. In my opinion, Andrew is the easy choice for a Student of the Month. Ms. Perry shared that Andrew is a hardworking, conscientious, inquisitive student. He thrives on details and enjoys a challenge. His work ethic is solid with a focus on efficiency and correctness. He is not only a strong student, but he is a valuable addition to the classroom with his ability to ask good questions and his interest in helping others. Ms. Stevens added that Andrew is an outstanding student. His accomplishments go beyond the classroom walls. His diligence, his academic excellence, his perseverance are all remarkable. However, I also have a great respect for Andrew as a learner and a leader. He has a great sense of humor and an ability to see the fun in learning, which he shares with his classmates. I enjoy the sense of community that he fosters and spreads, promoting a true appreciation for learning and collaborating and having a good time doing it. Andrew helps transform the classroom from a place where information is disseminated to one where it is discovered, batted around, and provokes real thinking. For me, Andrew has been a great ambassador for Hoboken High School. He often hosts Red Wings for a day. He ensures that his prospective students see everything we have to offer, and just following Andrew will ensure that. He also has sat on the Elysian parent and student panel. I've had the pleasure of watching him speak passionately about our school and exude pure joy. His enthusiasm is contagious, and I am confident he will boost our enrollment in years to come. Andrew's post-secondary plans include attending college with the goal of being a veterinarian. Another reason to love him, he is an animal lover. When notified about the award, Andrew just said he would like to thank Mr. LeBeg and the students and teachers that work with him on a daily basis. He states they are the reason that I succeed and work so hard. I'm only sorry Andrew couldn't be here to accept this, but I will ensure he gets this, and I will accept his certificate on his behalf. Thank you.
Congratulations to the students and absolutely to the families. So one big round of applause for the families of our Students of the Month. At this time, I'm really excited to ask Dr. Pollins to join me at the podium so that she can share with the community all of the really exciting and collaborative and just fantastic cross-curricular activities that our students in all of our schools will be engaging in for Black History Month.
It has been a pleasure to be able to have conversations with principals and with teachers about all of the amazing work that's happening in the schools, and I'm excited about sharing that with you tonight, starting with the Brant School. Kindergarten students will make rocket ships out of shapes after learning about Mae Jemison and will write sentences and share with their peers. They will also be introduced and experience the music of Duke Ellington and will draw to his music what it makes them feel and discuss their mood while listening. Students will also be assigned to research George Washington Carver, Barack Obama, Martin Luther King Jr., and Bessie Coleman. They will work in groups to complete writing assignments about what they learned, and then will share that information with their classmates. In first grade, first graders at Brant are reading short biographies of significant people in history twice a week and completing graphic organizers for each historic person that they learn about regarding where he or she was from, what they did to make a difference, and what we can all learn from them. Students will also, their favorite has been so far Jesse Owens. They recorded facts about his world records and his work at the Olympics, and they have made their own gold medal fact books about him. Second graders will complete research using nonfiction books and will conduct research online. Students will gather information and design an interactive Guess Who wall, where students will create a riddle for the hallway and underneath will provide answers with their key facts. The facts will be what the students found to be interesting to them, as well as important facts and dates that highlight the lives of influential African Americans. In third grade, the third graders at Brant School have completed a research simulation task that focused on 3 influential scientists, Mae Jemison, Katherine Johnson, and George Washington Carver. Students had the opportunity to research and discuss the contributions that each individual has made and interesting facts about their work. Fourth graders have been reading Delivering Justice, W.W. Law and the Fight for Civil Rights by Jim Haskins. The story tells about the life of W.W. Law, a mail carrier who started the Savannah boycott and was instrumental in desegregating his community. Students will discuss and make connections to the question, how can one person make a difference? Students will also highlight the cultural, political, and social influences that the African American community has made in the United States. The fifth graders at Brant are working in collaboration with the fifth graders at Wallace for Black History Month. They are celebrating and honoring historical African Americans during a fifth grade showcase. Students will be putting together creative research projects that include STEAM topics. This project will allow students to highlight the achievements of African Americans by creating an Instagram post. Students will highlight a famous African American and include something that this person would have Instagrammed during that time. Specifics include a profile picture, username, space for photos, captions, and of course, hashtags. Students will also honor and recognize the many ways in which African Americans have contributed to, inspired, and created American culture while also leading the way in advocating for civic participation and inclusion. Students will engage in conversations about civil rights, activism, the proper use of government power, and the role students can play in bringing about change and the power to make a difference in the world. Moving on to Connor School. In kindergarten throughout the month, kindergartners are being exposed to different read-alouds and participating in writing activities based on historical Black figures. These books include, but are not limited to, Hidden Figures, Sit-In, How 4 Friends Stood Up by Sitting Down, and Ron's Big Mission. In first grade, students will be learning and researching facts about African Americans who have changed the world. Students will be engaged in read-alouds through use of online resources and library books. Students will work together to gather important facts and information about historical figures. They will then create a Black History Month quilt by first completing their own individual poster about an African American leader, then weaving their posters to create a final diversity quilt to be hung in the classroom and in the hallways. The second graders of Connor School will be paired together to research different African Americans in history and will create a small biographical book that will be shared with their peers in the classroom. Students will also discuss the timeline of the civil rights movement and the importance of civil rights. Third graders will read Anansi Does the Impossible from the African Tales collection. Students will pair the selected text with Reading Wonder's story, Anansi Learns a Lesson, to compare and contrast the 2 stories and discuss the theme through the completion of a literary analysis task. Fourth graders at Connor School will create a Google Slides presentation about civil rights leaders to share, and after conducting the online research, they will identify where each leader falls on the timeline regarding the civil rights movement. Fifth graders at Connor School are researching different civil rights movement activists or events and creating a scrapbook for each one. They are learning about the historical events as well as how to conduct research, cite sources, and create a final product for publication. Recently, students have discussed events that led up to the Civil War and created timelines in social studies so the students are able to make connections and understand when and why the civil rights movement occurred. At Wallace School, in kindergarten, students are focusing on different aspects of history each week and learning about different people, places, and events that are important to the African American community and us all. Students are learning about Motown and its musicians, scientists, artists, and educators. The end of the month artifact will be a quilt of famous African Americans. Each classroom has been given 5 squares to decorate and design as they please. Some of the squares that have been decorated so far are Robert Smalls, Hank Aaron, the Clinton 12 in Tennessee, Stevie Wonder, and Motown Records. The first grade team at Wallace, along with their students, will be studying different African American inventors and other important figures that have both helped and shaped American history with their contributions. Students are creating a Black History booklet where they read and use research skills to learn about each person and include photos. Students created a wreath, tracing their hands using paper of various hues, and wrote how they can spread and be kind to others. Second grade has learned about and highlighted historical figures who are African American. They have learned about Jesse Owens and shared what they learned about him by writing facts about him on a gold medal. Their classes learned about Bessie Coleman, the first female African American pilot. They also wrote facts about her and wrote them on an airplane. They discussed Rosa Parks since her birthday was last week. The children wrote facts about her on an expandable bus, and students will continue to learn about more important people and celebrate Black History Month within the classrooms. Third grade classes at Wallace are researching important African Americans and writing biographies on them, and students are also researching important events in African American history, such as the Greensboro sit-in, writing reports and designing posters to show and highlight their work. The fourth grade students at Wallace will be studying and creating a cereal box biography for Black History Month. Students will research a famous African American and select a book from classroom libraries. Students will read and create a cereal box biography by decorating the box with illustrations and information related to the person that they happen to be studying. Students will be provided with a rubric to follow and will present their reports when they are finished to their peers. Again, the fifth graders, along with the fifth graders at Brant, will be honoring historical figures by putting together the fifth grade showcase. Hoboken Middle School. Our sixth grade students will conduct a web quest on Jim Crow laws and will link it to the novel Holes, which they currently are reading. Students will have a conversation around the article, The Illustration of Race, to make connections to lessons that are engaging on genetics. Seventh graders, students will read articles that contain powerful information on genetics and race and how these factors can be used in the medical field to sort people. They will work as a team to discuss race and question whether or not it is a necessary way to classify people, and will continue that discussion as they delve into the medical detectives unit of PLTW. Students will also receive a copy of the program for the March on Washington and will identify and discuss important figures other than Dr. King, who also spoke and helped organize the march. Eighth graders have begun to read To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Students will be researching segregation in the South in the 1930s and the Scottsboro trial. Students will evaluate how society influenced or shaped the outcome of the trial, and how if race is still a factor in today's society with similar cases. Overall, students will identify, research, and analyze important periods in Black history, including but not limited to the Middle Passage, slavery in America, Civil War and Reconstruction, the Great Migration, Harlem Renaissance, Jim Crow, segregation era, and Civil Rights Movement. In creative expressions, students will create a music video, podcast, newscast, or commercial about a famous African American songwriter, poet, singer, musician, or actor. In band, students are learning Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Black National Anthem. Students are also reading articles on and discussing the history of the song. At Hoboken High School, our high school students and faculty signed the Black Lives Matter pledge. They pledged to work to address inequities and take action to address access and opportunity for all students by highlighting inequities, increasing awareness, and organizing for change. Ms. McGreevy has created a book display and Black History Month quiz in the display window outside of the library at Hoboken, and Hoboken High School is hosting an African American film series, which was also highlighted by the New Jersey Amistad Commission on Twitter and Instagram. On February 28th, the African American Culture Club will host the annual Unity Luncheon featuring the Rockin' Red Wings, the Culinary Arts class, high school choir, and additional student performances. Throughout the high school, students are engaging in learning experiences that highlight and celebrate Black history. Also, as a district, on February 29th, we will host a high school art showcase at the high school that displays the art of professional artists and art by some of our very own Hoboken students from each school, and a demonstration table, Head Wrapping 101, the art of hair wrapping. The time of the event is 10 to 1 in the Hoboken Gym, and I hope as many of you who are available are able to come out and support. I'm happy to say that this was a lot to cover, and it is all amazing, and I'm so proud of all of our students and our teachers and our principals for doing all the hard work that's happening in the Hoboken Public Schools. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pollins, for sharing all of the wonderful activities that our students are doing in each and every school at every grade level. And congratulations to all of our students of the month. We are very proud of each and every one of you, and we hope you keep up the good work. So we're going to take a quick break now before we get into the business portion of our meeting for those of you who have to leave. So we'll just take a few minutes and then reconvene. Thank you. Okay, we are going to get started again. Well, first, we'll start with our business administrators report, if you have one, Ms. Good.
I want to make a note that on motion number 9.23, that the dollar amount for the stipend is actually $2,695. So note that correction on your board agendas. Any questions?
No.
Thank you. That's all.
Thank you. Next, we'll move on to board committee reports. We will start with curriculum. Ms. McGurk.
The curriculum committee met on Wednesday, February 5th. In attendance were Superintendent Dr. Johnson, Assistant Superintendent Ms. Rodriguez-Gomez, Ms. Angley, Ms. Catamatori, Ms. Khanna, and myself. There are no agenda items requiring board approval. The committee discussed the following items. As Dr. Pollins mentioned earlier, Black History Month is currently in full swing for all of the schools, grades K through 12. There are a multitude of cross-curricular activities and opportunities for our students and teachers to engage with and learn from the many contributions of African Americans to the history and culture of the United States. And as Dr. Pollins mentioned, this year, the Hoboken Public School District Black History Month will conclude with an art show at Hoboken High School on Saturday, 12/29 from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. The entire community is encouraged to attend and view works from both professional and student artists. February 29th will also be a day of STEAM at the high school, featuring audition workshops from 9 to 12 noon. Advanced registration is required for the audition workshop, so please contact Ms. Miller for more information. And in the afternoon, there will be Maker's Day from noon to 3 p.m. Registration is not required. Be prepared for Lego fun, 3D printing, and DIY slime and bath bombs. This is your opportunity to have this happen outside of your house. Ms. Rodriguez-Gomez also shared with the curriculum committee a curriculum tracker that she has developed to increase the utility and accessibility of the curriculum to all of our administrators. Congratulations to Ms. Miller and the cast and crew of The Wolves on a very successful production this past weekend. I know I was lucky enough to see it on Saturday and was very, very impressed. We are also excited to announce that the Hoboken Public School District has applied for recognition as a Best Community in Music Education. Our district meets the rigorous criteria set forth for this designation, and we look forward to reporting back the results soon. And then finally, we discuss the upcoming Summer Leap program, and that's all from curriculum.
Thank you. Facilities, Ms. Simons.
The Facilities Committee met on Wednesday, February 5th. In attendance were Dr. Johnson, Mr. Calgie, Ms. Angley, Ms. McGurk, Ms. Simons, and Ms. Catamatori. We discussed agenda items and recommend a few matters on the agenda for approval, including 12.01, approval of fire and safety drill reports, 12.02, approval of facilities requests. Zog Sports has again requested the use of winter co-ed soccer at JFK Stadium for 7 Sundays during March, April, and May, and they will pay a customary fee. And that is it.
Okay, thank you. Finance, Ms. Dekarian.
Hi, good evening. The Finance Committee met on Wednesday, February 5th. In attendance were Dr. Johnson, Ms. Good, Ms. Delara, Mr. Delatorre, Mr. Klipfel, and myself. We discussed all agenda items and recommend all for approval. A few things to note for the agenda this month. If you can believe it, a number of the items on the agenda are approvals for contracts and memberships going into the 2020-2021 school year. So it's upon us. So if you see 10.04, 10.6, and 10.07 are all for this year, for going into the next calendar year and the next school year. And we submitted, you'll see on the agenda, the approval for the submission of the Impact Aid Grant application and acceptance of the award for the fiscal year 2021. And we also, in that meeting, interviewed a number of potential options for auditors. Okay. That's it for the Finance Committee report.
Thank you. I think you're going to move right into governance.
I'm going to go into governance, too. So the Governance Committee also met on Wednesday, February 5th, in attendance for Dr. Johnson, myself, Ms. Delara, Mr. Klipfel, and Mr. Delatorre. We discussed all agenda items and recommend all for approval. A few items of note. First, for 9.02, we would like to thank Luz Ramos for her 26 years serving the children of Hoboken and wish her much happiness in her well-deserved retirement. In 9.19, as you all are aware, we talked about leadership changes at the middle school and welcome acting principal Ms. Mara to the middle school, wishing her lots of success in her new role. And 9.22 and 9.23, we want to thank the Hoboken Public Education Foundation for their generous funding that provides these valuable assemblies and class trip experiences for students in K through 8. How wonderful that our students get to experience these educational activities both inside and outside of their school buildings. So thank you again to the Hoboken Public Education Foundation for their partnership. And that's it for
Okay.
the
Thank you.
Governance Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Kirian. Wellness, Ms. Delara.
Oh, sure. The Wellness Committee met on February the 6th. In attendance were Ms. Simons, Mr. Kirian, Ms. Angley, and myself, and Dr. Johnson. And Ms. Khanna. I think one of you is extra.
I'm extra.
Sorry, Melanie was not there. Ms. Khanna. There are no items for approval for tonight's agenda, and I don't have any items to report. Thank you.
Thanks. My president's report was going to congratulate the high school theater department, and I guess I would like to do that myself, and their success at the New Jersey Thespians Festival, and also congratulate the Hoboken High School debate team on being named the Hudson County Mock Trial Champions. We have a lot to celebrate, and I look forward to seeing what all of our students will do in the future. Next, we will move to public comments on agenda items. Do we have any? None? Okay. So we'll move to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, is there anything to discuss or pull? No?
Nothing to, I think it's worth just recognition in general. There were so many great announcements today about successes that the district is having and all the amazing activities that are underway in the district for Black History Month, and really just kudos to the administrators, teachers, and students who are going through, having all of these successes. So great job to everybody involved.
I agree. Okay, consent agenda. Can we get a roll call, please?
Ms. Delara?
Yes.
Ms. Khanna?
Yes.
Mr. Klupfel?
I have to abstain on 10.01, and yes on everything else.
Ms. McGurk?
Yes.
Ms. Simons?
I'm going to abstain on 6.01 and yes to everything else.
Mr. Kirian?
Yes.
Ms. Angley?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Next, we'll move on to public comments on agenda and non-agenda items.
None.
None. Okay, well then that concludes our meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
I promised myself I would say something. I overheard or I learned something that I thought was very moving this week, that after the high school team won the mock trial county championships, the next day, I'll try to hold this together, the team went out to the John Sacchi Park across the street to commemorate the last time that they had won was many years ago. and in 1993, and Mr. Saki, who was senselessly gunned down by gun violence, was the coach of that team. So this year's team, without missing a day, went out and paid tribute to him. And tomorrow marks the sad anniversary of his passing. And I made the commitment to his daughter a couple of years ago to try to keep his memory alive as long as I could. So thank you for indulging me and remembering him and the Red Wing tradition that continues.
Thank you. Okay, well, moving on to, do I have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
Motion?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned.